Why charging what you're worth is an absolute trap. How many times have you said this? I'm worth more than this. Damn it, next time I need to charge what I'm worth. How many times have you said it or heard it from others or seen it in a Facebook post rant? And let's be honest, how many times has that actually fixed the problem? So let me ask you something. Why do you think this is coming up in the middle or the end of a project, but not when you're pricing your services or accepting the client in the first place? It's a great damn question, no? Why do you think it keeps happening over and over and over again? This is where I found myself as well. And my name is Pamela Dale, and I'm going to help you bust this wide open. I work with clients all day long, and we fix this problem so we never have to struggle with this "I'm not worthy" again. So why do we fall into this worthiness trap? We're going to use air quotes a lot today. When you're pricing your services or negotiating with a client, your focus is often external. Yes or yes? You're saying things like, what will make the client say yes? How do I close this sale? And let's be honest, sometimes we're saying, how can I just land the work and worry about all of the rest of that shit later? We're going to get into some truth today. At that moment, you are in survival mode and you're making decisions based on urgency and fear. Does that sound about right? But it keeps happening again and again. So let's keep walking through this. Why does this keep coming up? You're not thinking about sustainability, boundaries, or the real value of the service that you're going to deliver. You're prioritizing that short-term relief, and we're going to talk more about what that relief is, over the long-term alignment of your business. So we're going to break down exactly why this keeps happening. I've got 5 patterns that pull you deeper into this worthiness trap that you find yourself in. Number 1, you're reacting instead of acting. We've heard this in life, right? But at the time of pricing, you're reacting. Why? You're worried about losing the client, feeling pressure to win the deal, or afraid of that quote unquote rejection. You're chasing that short-term relief, securing the job. It's going to help you stay in business instead of thinking about the long-term impact. Sustainability, profitability, right? Those words are awesome as well. Number 2 is there's an optimism that blinds you to the reality. This is how you keep forgetting. These pricing decisions feel abstract in the moment. You think, this is just going to all work out great. And then frustration smacks you upside the head. And later, when you feel the emotional weight of working all those long hours for less than that ideal pay, suddenly it feels personal and you start questioning yourself. Number 3, you are mistaking validation for value. When a client says yes, it feels like validation, proof you are a good person. You're good at what you do. But when you're underpaid, overwhelmed, and up to your neck in the work, the reality hits that the deal you made doesn't reflect the value you're actually delivering. And now you're just stuck. Yes or yes? And is this where, oh my God, next time I'm going to charge what I'm worth, starts to sneak in? Number 4, there's a lack of awareness or confidence. Many of you as business owners have no idea how to properly value your service. And let's be honest, right? You struggle with confidence in general. Instead of pricing based on value, you price out of fear. What if they say no? Frustration becomes the teacher in this moment, right? Showing you what isn't working. But number 5, you're prioritizing your client's business over your business. Early on, it's easy to focus on landing the client rather than building a sustainable, profitable business. Pricing becomes that race to the bottom where the goal is just to win the client at any cost. And here is the cost: a business that serves your clients and not you. That's again where this all starts to come in. All of these feelings of the frustration, the overwork, the exhaustion starts to feel like a worthiness problem. And inevitably, overworked, underpaid, frustrated, that's when this absolute circle of I should be charging what I'm worth starts to swirl back into your world. And we've probably heard this before, right? I call it the cycle of insanity in a service-based business. We seem to not be able to get out of this. Oh my God, I get a client, get the client. Let's just get the client. We'll deal with it. This one will be different. Oh my God, it's not. Here I am again. I need to charge what I'm worth. Oh, get rid of the client, a moment of reprieve, next one, again and again and again. So these thoughts of worthiness are showing up again and again when you're knee deep in the project, right? And when you look at your bank account, you think, I'm just working way too much to be broke. You're exhausted. You're stuck with a perhaps a boundary pushing Franken client, right? And the sleepless nights, the obtrusive thoughts of simply wanting to. It's true. Oh my God, I wish she was hit by a bus tomorrow, just so I didn't have to deal with it. You can start to see where you are sitting and why you vow to charge what you're worth next time. But when it comes to pricing your services again, you're focusing on what the client will pay. You focus on getting the client to say yes, even though the deal doesn't feel quite right. So why does this keep happening? You think it's all about self. The real issue isn't the client or even the price. And I think you're starting to see that, right? The problem is you're looking for a client to fill or validate your worth. So let's ask this question next. How do you even measure self-worth? Think about it for just a second. What's the measuring stick? Is it your skills? Your experience? How much someone is willing to pay? How pretty you are? Some of us in society have put a lot of weight on that for worthiness, right? You're starting to see the issue, right? When you tie your pricing to your self-worth, you're setting yourself up for absolute heartbreak. Why? Because self-worth isn't measurable, it's infinite. Pricing, that's measurable. When you confuse the two, you give clients control over something they should never have power over, and that is your worth. Currently, what you're saying is that your worth is defined by how others perceive you. This is not your fault. The world does this to us. But for a business owner, we need to pull it back where it belongs because this stuff is really tricky. Worth is in the eyes of the beholder. For one client, your service may feel priceless because it solves a really big headache for them. For another client, the exact same service might feel not valuable because they really just don't understand the impact of what it is you're offering. How many times have you said that and you think, oh, it's because they don't value me? No, they don't value the service. Does that mean, and I think what you've been doing up until now, is that your worth does go up and down depending on the client. And now you can start to understand, of course it doesn't. That's ludicrous. Now you start to see the pattern and why it keeps happening. For many of you, this is exactly why you end up back where you are at each intersection with the client in the beginning, the middle, and the end. You are tying your pricing and you to your self-worth. Whether or not the client does X, Y, Z, you think it's a worthiness issue, and this is what made your business unstable and absolutely frustrating. This is what it looks like. You feel worthy when a client says yes. Yes or yes. Come on, let's tell the truth. You feel unworthy when they push back on your price. Yes or yes. Can you see where the client is in charge? It's a very dangerous game to play, and honestly, it's a hell of a way to run a business. So I'm here to say that you've got worthiness all wrong. When you try to charge what you're worth, here's what happens. You undercharge because you doubt yourself. You're thinking, what if they don't? You over-deliver to prove your value, and you take objections personally, feeling like a client is questioning you, not the service. You overwork, hoping your hustle will make up for the low price, aka low self-worth. Is it starting to get clearer what's happening? So you understand now tying your pricing to your self-worth is really where things unravel every single time. The frustration, we know it's real, and it has made your life and your business absolutely unbearable. So what I want to do now is I like going to the dictionary, right? Let's go look up the word self-worth. The dictionary states self-worth is the internal sense of being good enough and worthy of love and belonging from others. Self-worth is intrinsic, meaning internal. It is belonging naturally, and it is essential. It's not something you earn or prove. It's something you already have simply by existing. You get to decide. Self-worth, I am 100% worthy simply because I was born. You are moving humanity forward simply because you breathe every day, and that's it, full stop, done. You get to decide. You get to put it on or not. And in business, it's important that you at least give it a shot. And if you can't get to, I am 100% worthy simply because I am, use this instead. I am willing to believe that I am 100% worthy. Because that is the decision that needs to be made. Are you or are you not worthy? Not, I need to charge what I'm worth. That is the wrong decision. That is the wrong action. That's what's getting you into trouble. I believe I am simply worthy because I was born. That's it. I do not need to do a single thing to be worthy. I simply chose it, and it has made my life and my business so much easier. I'm not looking to the outside to be validated. Doesn't it feel already icky? You know it. You feel it out there. It's just really challenging when it's you, but you don't know how to fix it. So this isn't your fault. You don't know, right? When you run your business looking outside for your worth, this is what sets you up for the exhaustion. This is what sets up the resentment. This is what sets up that financial bank account at zero, right? Your worth is not up for negotiation. It has nothing to do with the number on an invoice. No client, no project, or price can ever define your worth. Can we go there? Can we just put that down? Let's go, okay, I'm willing to give that a shot. Let's now take a look at what is the switch that needs to happen so that we can finally, we know we're worthy, where are we going to go next? So in business, now we know it's crucial to separate our self-worth from the value that we're providing, right? But here's where it's constantly showing up. I think you currently are charging hourly, or you're calculating how many hours is this going to take, right, in your head and throwing out a number. Yes or yes. And hourly pricing and worthiness, there's a connection there that I want you to really understand. When you're selling time, it reinforces the I am worth more mentality. Because you're selling the only commodity that you have that you can never get more of, right? You're selling your time. So it's natural to make this connection that your worth is how much someone is willing to pay you per hour. This is the trap that you fall into, and this cycle, right, of thinking your personal value rises or falls with your hourly rate. Does that make sense? When you charge per hour as well, there's an order taker mentality that undermines your experience. This pricing positions you as a task doer, not as an expert. But you're an expert. That's why you feel like they're not getting paid what you're worth. The client then sets up the scope, assumes they know all the moving parts, and micromanages your hours. When you undervalue your service, your client mirrors that perception. So there's a real strong connection between self-worth and self-esteem. And this stuff starts to undermine your self-esteem. And then you're flipping it, thinking it's self-worth. We're going to stay with self-worth. This isn't a video for all of those roads. There's lots there. But what happens as well when you're charging hourly is number 3, which is the lack of full ownership. It keeps you reactive. When you're on the clock, you're limited with your ability to manage the project fully, right? The client is going to dictate what gets done and often pushes back when you say, we need this done, this needs done. They're labeling them as extra hours instead of seeing them as part of the solution. And this lack of autonomy reinforces the idea that this worth is how well you are following their directions, right? It's dangerous. Number 4 is you're focused on time, not results, and this is going to diminish your impact. This hourly pricing, it really shifts the client's focus to how much time you spent. Yes or yes? Not the actual transformation that you've created for this business. This approach not only limits your income, but it also diminishes the perception of your value. And it feeds into this unworthiness doubt thing that keeps going on. And it's always on this effort, not the outcome. So this hourly stuff is dangerous. Clients expect to manage the process and not rely on your expertise. Hourly pricing puts the responsibility on the client to know what needs to be done, how the pieces fit together, and how to instruct you. Or they don't pay you for all of that extra thinking time and they expect you to do it anyways. Just as dangerous, right? And this really is reinforcing this belief that your role is just here to do, right? Not to lead. And this is also where that undervalued feeling comes in and you feel frustrated. And of course, we've got our dreaded scope creep. This hourly pricing discourages you from addressing the root issue or offering these proactive solutions because every hour to the client feels like a risk financially, right? So when we put this budget on our projects and on what it is that we're doing, this is what keeps you from stepping fully into your expertise. And it really creates a disconnect between the value that you know you can deliver and the work that you're actually doing. So can you see where this hourly pricing, whether you said it's 3 hours and it's this, or you calculate in your head that it's going to be 4 hours, so you throw out a number, it really is where the project starts to really drain you, and this lack of fulfillment is really going to eat away at your confidence when you're stuck in this doing tasks instead of really fulfilling on the project and solving the real problems that are there and giving the client something that's very, very valuable. So it creates this perpetual cycle of undercharging. So you're starting to see how this hourly pricing is really fueling this cycle that you are in. And when you're selling your time, you're essentially tying your worth and to whether or not a client values what you do in those hours. And over time, this constant need for approval, micromanagement, it just chips away at your confidence and it makes you feel like your expertise doesn't matter. Is this starting to ring true? Can you start to hear what I'm saying? Why it is that you fall back into this cycle all the time? This is the confidence killer, this hourly pricing, and it really is where you start to over-deliver, undervalue yourself, and accept these nightmare clients, and they really just don't respect you. And this just deepens every feeling that you have, and then it is locking you in this spiral. Remember, I said at the beginning, why does this keep happening over and over and over again? You get knee deep into the project and boom, there it is again, all of these feelings. And there is a solution though. This deepens the frustration, all of these feelings, right? And it locks you into this spiral that we talked about at the beginning. Oh my God, I got to charge what I'm worth. You're knee deep in it. Here we go again. And this is how this keeps happening. So there is a solution, and it's switching to what I call a value-based pricing. It breaks this cycle right off at the knees, and it helps you know how to price, and it's going to transform the way that you work. You simply are going to make a shift into separating your worth from your work by not charging what you're worth. You're going to charge what the service is worth. The number one thing that you need to do is start your day with the mantra, I believe I am worthy, or I am worthy, or I am 100% worthy every day. This is going to take a lot of energy and focus at the beginning. You're going to need to turn the Titanic. And to do this, you must slow down. You must slow down so you can see where the unworthiness is slipping into your day. You must base your prices on the value of the transformation. So you need to get this worthiness in check. So I have a question for you. What if you switched the focus on the value of the service instead of your work? How would you price your services now? If you looked at what is it that the service is going to provide for the client, what if we just took your worth right off the negotiation? Can you start to feel how that is different for you? 5-page website isn't just $500 a page. We're going to provide a beautiful visual brand that's going to uplift everything that you do online. We're going to get the systems in the back end working so that the leads come through properly. We're going to make sure that it addresses your services well, that it links correctly. You're going to get 10 new clients a month. That's the value of the service. If their clients are $5,000 and you can get them 10 more a month, $50,000. So now all of a sudden we've got a switch going on and it is delicious. Yes, because we can then talk about the goals of the business versus I need a client, I need validating, all of these things. And then when you're over here, it's like, this is what needs to be done to get this done, not hourly. Oh my God, the form's not working. I need another hour. And they're like, nah, it's your fault in the first place. You can start to hear it, right? But it's 50,000. We're going to get you some new clients. So I charged you 10,000 for it. That's more than fair. And then you just get in, roll up your goddamn sleeves, and you get to work, right? This is how you really are going to separate your self-worth from your pricing. And it's going to give you the ability to just stand in who you are. And from this place, you're going to build an absolutely amazing business. You're going to astonish yourself. I always say, and I've heard from my coach, just blow your own damn mind. What if you sat down with a bunch of clients and started to talk to them about what is it really that this will provide for you? And what if I could give you this? What would you pay? And you're going to find that it's more than what you are charging. And it's going to alleviate all of the problems that you're experiencing in scope creep, customer frustration, because when you're over here working at this level, you bring all of you to it. And then all of your expertise, you don't get cut off at the neck because you know this isn't going to work. How many of you have just thrown your hands in on a project because you knew it wasn't going to work? That's fine. How many times have we done that? Is that valuable to the client? No wonder you feel so shitty. No wonder your worth gets all wrapped up. It gets all messy, right? So value-based pricing is when you are hired to solve an actual. So building a website is not an actual problem. What is the problem that a website is going to solve? What's the problem that a new website is going to solve for your client? You then can own the process, manage the strategy, focus on the outcomes, increased revenue, improved client experience. That's huge today. Every client is so valuable, and keeping a client, and if you even get a client on a website or on a funnel, you want to keep them because they're so expensive. They're so elusive, these clients, right? And this is how you are going to help them build a real business. Charging them by the hour is what I call a disservice, because you cannot get in and get the job done. And the client starts to trust you more, and you are able to then take over the full project. You're going to step into what I call being the expert that you are. And this is also something that you're going to need to really step into. You can no longer get your validation, your little pat on the head when you're undervaluing your services and you undercharge, and someone says, oh my gosh, that's a great price. And you get this little dopamine hit of, oh my God, they love me. You're going to have to be stronger. You're going to have to handle, whoa, that's a lot. What were you thinking that this would be? And then what you do is you do not lower your price. You remove the deliverable. You want 3 pages? Okay, let's make it 1. Let's start with that. The client all of a sudden knows this isn't about price. This is about what are we going to actually do to solve the problem. We need to do these things to solve the problem. Which part of the problem do you not want solved today, customer? It gives you such amazing control over your business. With that, I am worthy. I am 100% worthy. I am willing to believe I am 100% worthy. Put some space in your day. When you start your day, take a moment. Don't roll out of bed, open up the phone, and find the 14 things that are problems with your clients already. Just start you off, and you're rolling into the day, and it is so fast that you cannot get a hold of the worthiness before you end up in another client situation where you're undercharging. So this is the breakthrough that you've been looking for. Right at the beginning of the video, you said, oh my God, how do we stop this? And it really is in this shift of removing your worthiness and going to value-based pricing, taking you right out of the equation. Right? Then you're going to stop tying your worth to what the client's going to pay. You're going to stop focusing on delivering all of this stuff that at midnight, right? And it's going to really help you build this sustainable business that's going to support both you, your clients, and your life, right? So this trap, it's gone. Let's just take it right off the table. Let's no longer be chasing this validation and really sit in the thought that my worth is not up for negotiation, and the value lies in what it is that I'm offering my. See you next time.